Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, everyone, whenever you watch this video. So, Ismail Mubarak. I'm a third year student of English Education Department at Alauddin State Islamic University of Makassar. In this video, I would like to do one of my assignments regarding psycholinguistics, in which, in this case, focusing on language in psycholinguistics perspective. In this video, there will be about 6 questions that will be answered by me regarding what I have read. Yeah, so let's get started. The first question is, what do you know of language in linguistic perspective, language in discourse perspective, and language in psycholinguistic perspective? Let's talk about this one. Language and linguistic perspective. See language as a form in which, as we understand together, that language as a tool that humans use to communicate their thought or meanings to others. In this linguistic perspective, we just see language in a form where regarding how the language form basically. Another side, language in discourse perspective, see language as two components, right? As language as a form in which it deals with the internal grammatical structure of words or phrase, and language as a function in which it refers to what humans do with language as they engage with content and interact with other. And the last one is language in psycholinguistic perspective. As I have explained before, from the linguistic perspective and discourse perspective, in this psycholinguistic perspective is more, I can say, as a perfect concept in which not only see language as a form or as a function, but it's also seen language as a process in human mind, which is the function of mind is to increase human language competence. So in this psycholinguistic perspective, there are 3 aspects that included. There is a form, function, and mind. So the differences between these 3 perspectives can be seen in their focus on and their focus, as I have explained before. In the linguistics, they're focusing on form way, language and discourse perspective as a form and a function, and psycholinguistic perspective, so language in 3 ways, either as form, function, and mind. While if we talk about the sameness, as I have seen, they are complement each other. Linguistic completed by discourse analysis completing linguistic, and psycholinguistic complete both of them. So that's we can understand from this kind of things. And let's move to the next question. The second question. In order to be able to produce speech, the mind goes through stage. What are stage are they, and when do human needs in order to be able to function their stage? Explain your answer. Well, there are 3 stages. As the first is the conceptualization stage, where the stage to determining what intention will become fit. The first stage of language production, um, in this case, is conceptualization, in which can be understood as a process of bringing concept, ideas, or intention into our mind as an initial preparation before we start speaking. So the conceptualization is a way to recognizing and then determining the concept before we speak. The next one is the formulation stage. This stage where we would be determining what would be used and how to express the intention that exists in conceptualization. Well, in the first stage, we have a concept in our mind, and then in the formulation we have to determine what we use, what such a word or sentence that really exists that we can use to convey the context in the conceptualization. And the last one is the articulation stage, to conveying intention from the form of utterance and expressions. The humans need use this stage when they want to produce a language. This stage recognized um, as a process when human want to convey something. So in this stage, the articulation, humans speak what they have concept about, and has been decided what we need to use for the formulation. Next question is for the third question. I would like to talk about, do you agree with saying that conceptualization needs semantic knowledge? The first one, why? Explain the reason for your position. For my position, I do agree that conceptualization need semantic knowledge. But before in a brief explanation about it, let's see what is the semantic knowledge. As I have understood, semantic knowledge refers to the knowledge the person has in which make them able to formulate and determine the meaning or message to be conveyed before speaking. In this case, semantical knowledge help us in the stage of conceptualization to build a great abstract idea or concept before we convey it. So that's about semantic knowledge. So why conceptualization need semantic knowledge? What are the function of semantic knowledge for conceptualization? In a conceptualization, we have been have a concept in our mind, and we need the semantic knowledge to help us formulate and determine the great meaning that can be understood well from the concept that we have in our mind. So it will really helpful if we use the semantical knowledge in our process of conceptualization. The next question. What do you know of semantical microplanning and semantical macroplanning? Well, the concept of semantical microplanning is an approach where the speaker decided and use the type of speech act to intents in which communicate message in his mind, using which facts will be identified as a key of a target for. So there's the concept of semantic microplanning. Meanwhile, semantic microplanning refers to the way that a speaker determines determines what type of speech acts are suitable to expressing concept abstract ideas in his mind effectively. So that's what I understand about the macro planning and also macro planning in semantical. The next question is, if conceptualization takes place in the brain, which of the brain runs the function? Explain your answer with theory and example. Where there are the area of the brain where conceptualization takes place is on Wernicke's area, in this area involved in language processing. Language processing that I mean from the conceptualization to formalization. So this area, Wernicke's area, involve a language processing. And language processing is from conceptualization, which is the first stage, also, and then move to the second stage to formulation, in which in this Wernicke's area, there will be a process to determining the concept in a conceptualization then choosing appropriate words and sentence structures, which is it is the part of formulation. So in this Wernicke's area, there is a process of language processing, including conceptualization to formulation. Well, the last questions, what do you know about pauses, psycholinguistic pauses, and a field pause? Let's talk about the first one, pauses. According to Force 2015, pause is defined as a temporary stop in action or speech. As pause is a silence that occurs during an ongoing conversation and during a speaker's turn or at a turn change. This kind of pauses people use in their conversation when they want to have a little a little bit pause or turn or at a turn change. When they want to change an idea that we want to speak about, they have to have a pause. Because pause as an action that humans use to stop for a while when communicate something in conversation. Well, next, psycholinguistic pauses is a pause that used in a conceptualization process that we can see when some people do conceptualization by slowing down their rate of speaking without producing silence at all. So just silent down the way they speak. In psycholinguistic pauses, it means as a pause. This kind of pauses can be seen to indicate that the speaker processing a concept in their mind for a while. So sometimes this kind of pauses is used to make them able to think about what to think about the concept in their mind to can convey it more briefly and more clearly. And the last one is a failed pause. Is an articulation by the speaker that might be encountered between utterance that occurs most often when a speaker is thinking. Well, this kind of thing is also same, but it's kind of different. Uh, Let me show you. There are some example of failed pause, such as uh, you know, yeah, sometimes we see those kind of things when people explain about something. They would like use a veiled pause, like you know, nah, that's kind of example of veiled pause. There's and several studies have shown that field pause have a different function from psychological pauses. As I have explained before about psychological pauses, it's different when we use a felt pause because in a felt pause there is a voice that we hear, or and in the psychological pauses there is no voices that we hear, or even there is no such a great pauses that we can see. Well, maybe that's all my answer regarding all the questions. Um, I hope that can get benefit for you all guys, especially for me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.